to talk about query letters. Not query letters generally, but a specific portion of query letters. And in my opinion, the most important part, the plot summary. Now, query letters are simply the letter or the message you send agents when you want to acquire an agent. They're just getting basics across, who you are, what your story is about, etc. But of course, the key part of that is what your story is about, because that's ultimately what you're selling yourself on. You matter, but ultimately what's important is your story. And I think a lot of people get hung up on what to get across. Some people might treat it like a blurb, and that's not what you're doing. You want to get across why the agent should care. Why do they want to represent you with this story? So it's not just a little blurb that you have in the back of a book. It's a bit more comprehensive than that. It should get across more information. And my tip when writing one of these plot summaries or story summaries in a query letter is to try to address 4 major points or 4 big questions. So the first question is, who is your character? Now this is where everything starts, right? You're presenting your protagonist right there, and you're getting across who your protagonist is, and most importantly is what drives them. What do they want? Right? The story can't get going until you know what your character is after. Otherwise you just have a stagnant story. So that's the first question. What are they trying to achieve? What are their dreams? What are their hopes, etc., etc. The second question is, what is the problem? So your character wants to achieve something. Obviously, it shouldn't just be a smooth sailing path, because then you just have no story there. You need something in his way or her way. And so this is where you present the problem. The problem is whatever gets in their way to stop them from achieving their problem. Third, what's at stake? So why should we care at all about this protagonist and the problem that they face? Right? They want to achieve something, and something might be in their way. But why does that matter? Is there something greater at stake there, or is it just, if there are no stakes there, and let's say it's a rich person's scheme to get richer, why do we care, right? Like, something needs to be universal that captures our interest. And then the fourth and final problem is, what actually makes a problem difficult? Like, a problem in of itself isn't necessarily an issue. It's what makes a problem especially difficult for your protagonist. So what is ultimately stopping them from overcoming a problem, right? And so if you put that all together, let's come up with a quick, easy example. Let's say, okay, who is your protagonist? My protagonist is Donald, and he wants to play football. And why does he care about playing football? Because him and his dying father bonded over playing football. And up until now, let's say Donald's had health issues, and finally he's feeling fit and ready, but his father's ailing and he wants to make him proud and, let's say, join a youth team, whatever. It's just something along those lines, right? So that's who your protagonist is. What is the problem? Well, maybe the problem is that they have to pass tryouts, right? Simple enough. Why does it matter? Because is it kind of a ticking clock there? Number one of the things at stake is maybe the father and the father's happiness before he dies, or some kind of connection with the father before he goes, or anything along those lines. That's what's at stake. It's a fairly intimate story here, and what's at stake is the relationship between a father and a son. What makes that problem difficult? Well, maybe it's that the protagonist is scared about their own health. Maybe their health is going to start failing again, like they did earlier in life. Maybe the coach of the tryouts is somebody who doesn't like the protagonist, and is going to make it especially difficult, right? So these are all 4 things coming together. And now, the bonus point that I want to get across is less of a question, just something you should do to probably end out the story summary, is tease the agent right at the end. Why do they want more? What is it about this story that will make the agent, bite, so to speak? So here you want to lay out the scenario, including all the previous kind of points that I talked about. So in the case of Donald, the aspiring footballer, maybe present a scenario where, the tryouts are the next day, but his health is failing him and his father's just been moved to hospital and the coach is preparing to sabotage it. Like, put it all together and then leave it there. What is going to happen to Donald next? So it's actually a fairly simple thing, and I think if you've just written, any kind of story, these are things that'll naturally present themselves. I just want to say it might be a little bit more difficult if you have many, many characters. So you want to try to reduce it to just 2, maybe 3 characters. Even if you have many more, try to reduce it to 2 or 3 main characters. And of course, you're going to have to make some difficult cuts, and that's fine. But find the characters that you feel are most central to your story, and then get across their problems. Get across why they want to do what they're doing. Get across what's at stake if they fail. Get across why this is so difficult, and then put it all together and lay out this, tantalizing scenario for the agent where the agent is like, what is going to happen next? I need to know, and because of that, I'm going to read their manuscript, or I'm going to ask for more of their manuscript, right? That's really your goal here. Get the agent to care, and get the agent to care about what's going to happen next in your story. So I hope that's helpful. And of course, there's a lot more to query letters, like I said, and I'm happy to go over that. And let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions about this or anything else about query letters. And I hope you'll like, I hope you'll subscribe, and I'll see you next time.